video, we are going to be continuing our Power BI Hackathon project series, all right, where we tackle 10 different Power BI projects right here on this channel, okay? And so if you're not aware, we started it on the 20th, so if you haven't checked those ones out, you can go back and check everything that we've done from the 20th to this particular point out, all right? Okay, and so in this particular project, we are actually sitting as a data analyst working for Amazon, all right? And our job is to support the retail operations and strategy team, okay? And so now Amazon sells a wide range of products across regions and uses different sales channels, which are all this, okay? The management wants to understand its sales performance, the profitability, the regional products, trends using this particular data set. And the data set is provided in the description box below. If you haven't checked that out, go right into the description box. You can download it and follow along as I take you through this. Now, what is our job? Our job is to uncover actionable insights to help leadership make decisions on pricing, marketing, products, etc. Now we have a number of business questions as well attached to this particular project that we'll be looking at solving. All right, so this is more or less like a real-time business analysis, all right, project that we are working on. And so the project or the data set is requiring us to answer these questions: that what is the total revenue, total is and overall operating profit for Amazon. Also, how have sales trended over time? Okay, which season or month generates the highest sales? Cities contributing the most sales and profit. Products that are top sellers by revenue. All right, and so we will look at answering all of these questions. All right, for Amazon. Okay, and so if this is something that interests you and is something that you want to be a part of, then I urge you to get your things together and let's jump right in as we tackle this amazing project. Okay. So let's jump right in. Now, to begin with this particular data set, I need you to know that there wasn't any much data cleaning, all right, that was done for this particular project. So this is the entire data set, all right. This is the actual data set, and there wasn't really any much data cleaning for it, and so you wouldn't really have to do any data cleaning, or you don't need to bother with any data cleaning, all right, when it comes to this project. But we did have our measures and our parameters created. So when we get there, I'll let you know. Now, one other thing also to notice that we created our design background, all right, in Power BI. So this is my design background that I created in Power BI, all right. And I'll be leaving this also in the description box below alongside the data set, all right. And so you can go there and then download them and then use that also to follow along as I guide you through this project, all right. And so yes, that is that. And so we are going to go right in and start. And to begin with, I'm going to import my design background, all right, into Power BI. And this is something we've done several times. If you've been watching my channel, this should be familiar. You should be familiar with this, okay? And so this is it, Amazon. So I have here, and then what we are going to do is that once I have this, I'm going to reduce the transparency, and voila, we have our dashboard. All right, so this is our background design, all right, in Power BI for this particular project. We have that, like I said, I'll be leaving that in the description box below. All right, so you have nothing to worry about. If you want me to take you through how to prepare these dashboards in Power BI, be sure to leave a comment down below for it, and I'll be sure to make a video on that, how to do this, how to save it, all right, so that when you transfer it into Power BI, it's just fitting as it is now. Okay, and so don't forget that. All right, so now we have our design background. We are going to start answering our questions. Okay, so the first question is that what is the total revenue, total units, and overall operating profit for Amazon? All right, so this is the first question. The business or the management wants to find out our total revenue, total units, and overall operating profits for Amazon. All right, and so to do that, I've already created my measures for it. And so this is my measure table, and I have my total revenue, and this is a DAX formula that I use. It's simply sum, all right, of this. Okay, now if you don't know how to create a measure, all you need to do is to click on this, right click, and then you can go to new measure, and then you'll be able to create it. All right, so this is for my total revenue. This is my DAX for my total revenue. Then I have for my total profit as well, all right, my total records, and then the total units sold. All right, so I have my measures for all of this, all right, all of this question that management is looking to solve. All right, and so I'm just going to pick them. Total units sold, let me start with total revenue, total profit, and total units sold. Now this is not a part of the KPI, the question that management wants, but we use it for something else. That's why I created it. So when we get there, you'll see why we created this. All right. And so this is the three KPIs or the three totals that management will want to see. So we've selected them and we are going to use a card, all right, to illustrate this. So I'm going to use a card, and yeah, voila, this is the cars and we have everything in there. So now what we need to do is some formatting. All right, so I'm going to come right here to my visuals and we are going to do the formatting. Okay, and so yeah, so from this particular point it's just formatting. Go to call out, all right, because yeah, the call out, we need to reduce the size, all right, to fit the box. All right, so we are going to go with maybe 16, all right, and then bolden it a little bit. Okay, and we are going to use black. This is black, all right, sure. And then we are going to align it in the middle. Okay, so we are done with this, the color, the values, and now we can do the same for the labels. Now the labels are the writings down there, the total units sold, the total profit, all of that. That is the labels, all right. And so for the labels as well, we are going to come here, bolden it a little. I'm going to reduce this a little bit, and I'm going to make this black. Okay, so now we are done with the call out values, all right, and we can continue to do a little bit of, so for the cars, what I want to do is I want to remove the background, but I want to add some. I want to remove the background, sorry, but I want to add some asset bar, all right. So we are adding the asset bar to the cars, all right. Let's remove the borders as well, and then any dividers, all right, and then let's work with the ascent bar. Okay, so the ascent bar, you want it from the left, all right. If you want it from the right, you can just choose from the right as well, and you see it on the right, all right. But in this particular case, we want it from the left side, all right. So from the left, and then we are going to increase the thickness, all right, to this a little bit, all right, and then that should be this for that, all right. And we are going to go there and remove any background effects or any effects on this particular visualization. All right, okay. Now once we are done, we like to put in some figures to show total revenue, total profit, and all of that. Okay, so we'll be doing that. So let me try fixing this right in here. All right, so we are fixing this in here, and we are stretching this to fit. Okay, stretching this to fit it. It looks good. Let's add the pictures. So to do this, I already have my pictures. All right, already have my pictures. So I'm going to go to call out, and once I come to call out, I'm going to be selecting so total revenue. All right, and then I'll come down to pictures. All right, so I want a picture for total revenue, and I'm going to go to browse to select it. All right, and so I'm going to come here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Amazon. No, this is not it. So so I'm looking for my project pictures. All right, so this, so we have total revenue. So this is my total revenue. So that is that. All right, and now as you can see, it's taking everything. It's taking the entire distance. So we can just go and do say fit. All right, I need it to fit. Okay, and once it's going to fit, I think that should be done for now. All right, so it's fitting now. All right, so it's fitting. Let's see if there's some other thing we can do with this. Image area size, I want to make this 30. All right, so I want to make this 30. Okay, so I believe this is fine. All right, so I believe this is fine now, and then we can move on to the next one, which is total profit. All right, so we are going to come back and select total profit for this. All right, so we are going to go to total profit, and we are going to come back down to this image. We are going to go select the image, and this time around is profit. So we select the profit. All right, and we are going to come down here, and again we are going to put this, we are going to make it fit. All right, and then line, and we are going to make this 30. All right, all right, good. And then this as well, you can just go back and just go, but we can also make it differently. So let me see. I don't, let's say I don't want to make it fit. All right, let's say center. All right, and then center, I'm just going to reduce this, and I'm going to make this maybe 60. All right, so you can also do it this way, it really doesn't matter. All right, okay, So now you are going to the last one. Now I'm going to go select total units sold, all right, and then go to come to image, and we are going to go select a total units sold image, all right, so total units sold. So this is it. So yeah, you can use whichever one that you want. It really doesn't matter. And you're just going to change this and make this 60 as well, all right, and then that should be all. So we are done with our first yeah, so I think we can do a little bit of cost. Hold on, I want to do something to move the background for this. All right, so now we are done. So this is our first question solved, and we can see it right over here. So it says the first question: what is the total revenue, total initial, and overall operating profit for Amazon? And we've actually solved that right in here. All right, so now we are moving on to our second question, which says how have sales trended over time, monthly and quarterly. All right, so now we are looking at how sales have trended monthly and quarterly. So let's go in and do that. All right, so for our second question, all right, which is asking us to find the sales trend over time, all right, which is monthly and quarterly. What we are going to do is that we are going to be using what we call the drill up and the drill down. Now the drill up and the drill down, normally you first need to have prepared a hierarchy, all right. And so the hierarchy that we are going to be using in this particular case, we are going to use quarter and then we are going to use month, because for a date hierarchy, normally start from the year, the quarter, the month, and then the day, all right. And so it's going to be quarter and then the month, like that, all right. And so it says the sales trend, all right. So go to our measure and then we are going to find the total revenue by the by trend, all right. And so we are going to come down here. We are going to go to our invoice date, all right. And then this is a hierarchy that has been created. Then we are going to choose for quarter, and then we are going to select month, all right. Now initially, if you select it, this is how, of course, it's supposed to be, all right. But then we can just click on the drill down, all right. And then once we click on the drill down, let's hit on this, okay. And then we can go back up, all right. So we'll be using the line chart, all right, to showcase this, okay. So it's as simple as that, all right. It's as simple as that, all right. So it's as simple as I'll be showing you how it works, but first let's prepare it, all right. So this is it. So that I'm going to say, all right, so this is the total revenue by the first quarter, this is the total revenue by the second quarter, this is the total revenue by the third quarter, this is the total revenue by the fourth quarter. But if you look at this, the third quarter contributed the most revenue, all right. And what we can do is that we can now go into third quarter and see which of the months, okay, contributed the most revenue. And so if I click on this, because our draw down is already there, if I click on this, we are going to get for the month, all right. And for the month, we are seeing that July actually contributed the most amount, all right. And so this is just how the drill down and the drill up works, all right. Now if I want to go back, I'm going to use the drill up to go right back up, all right. Okay, so now we can just format this so that we can have our question answered. So I'm going to go here and this, all right. I'm going to change this to black, okay, because we need that. We actually need the x-axis, but we don't need for the title, all right, because anyone can tell it's quarter, all right. So we don't need for the title. And then for the y-axis, we are just going to turn everything off, all right. So for the things that was over here, that's the y-axis, all right. We are going to tell everything off, all right. Now let's see if there's any secondary items. I don't think so, but if there are, we can just simply turn that off as well, okay. All right. And then we are going to come see now in my project. I really do not like seeing green lines, so I oftentimes, I don't know if you followed, if you've been following my project preparations or my Power BI projects, but oftentimes you see me checking the green lines. And sometimes I know some of you might be like, why is he checking the green lines? Well, I just don't want green lines in my work. So that's that. And then for the line, this, we are going to change the color to make it black, because I don't want so many colors, right? So I'm going to just change that and make it black. Now there are two blacks, but this is the original black, the 000. All right, so I'm going to change that, make it black. And if you want, we can increase the width, that's the size of it. Wait, hold on, what happened? What happened? Let me just go back again. Wait. hold on, I'm not entirely sure what happened. Oh, I turned this on. All right, so that should fix it. Okay, so now for the width we can just increase it the size. All right, and then that should work. Okay, so that is that for the line, and we don't want any shaded area. The shaded areas will just shade this area. All right, we don't want any shaded areas in this particular project, but we want markers. All right, so we want these markers. All right, and I think this is fine. Okay, we can increase the data as well, but I think this is fine for now. Okay, and then we close it. Then we can go to data labels and add a little bit of data labels, and we can again just format the data labels and format the values for the data labels. All right, where we increase this and we do this, and I think that this should be fine as well. All right, so now we are done with this particular part of it, and we can just go back and change the title. All right, and I say sales trend. All right, you can just say sales trend by quarter and month. All right, so sales trend by quarter and month, and we need to format that as well, the title as well, because it's looking really bad and black. All right, we can put this in the middle. All right, so now we are done with the second one. Kindly forgive me for the motor noise. I'm currently very close to the road, so you have to forgive me for that. All right, so this is our second question solved. So this is our first question. Our second question has now been solved. All right, so all right, let's move on to the third question. The third question is which season or month generates the highest sales? Now I believe this question also solves that particular answer. All right, because like we said, we saw that in the month of July. All right, because if you draw down, we select the highest quarter. Okay, you can see it's in July that we are actually making the most sales. All right, okay, so that should solve the question number 3. Then question number 4, which is now which cities contributes um the most sales and profit. So we are looking for the top 5 or top 10 cities with the most sales and profit. So we can either use the most sales or the most profit. All right, and that should be fine because I believe most sales will come with most profit. Will also come with most profit. All right, so the top 10 should be fine. Okay, all right, and so we are going to come right in here. Excuse me, we are just going to come right in here, and I'm going to say, all right, so we are looking for the cities. Okay, now if you look at this data set, okay, if you look at this data set, for us to be able to use what we call the map chart, all right, to use the map chart, that means we need to have come here and then change this because normally you see it under uncategorized. If you are now doing it, you see it as uncategorized. So you simply come here, come right here, come to that particular column, and then because it's city, you change it from uncategorized to city, all right, so that you are able to use it. Okay, all right, so that's that for that. So I've already done that. I've already changed that from uncategorized to city, so I can use the map chart. But if you haven't done that, you should do that. All right, just go right here to the table view, select the data set, which in this particular case this post data set, come to city, change this from uncategorized, select city, and that should be done. All right, okay, so now let's move on. So top, the question says what? Question 4 is which cities contribute the most sales and profit? So we are looking at the top cities that is contributing the most sales and profit. All right. So I'm going to select my city. Okay. And then I'm going to come to my measure table. Now I'm going to select total profit. Okay. I can also just add total revenue and total profit. Okay. So let's see that right here. All right. So the total profit is as my total, of course. And then we are going to come right here. Now we'll be formatting that. And for the city, I'm going to change. I'm going to say we want the top 10. So I'm going to come to top 10. All right. So top N, and I'm going to select top 10. And now I'm going to be doing that based on the total revenue. So I'm going to select my total revenue, put that in here. Then I'm going to go to apply filter, so that it's going to apply my filter and then give me what I'm actually looking for. That's the top 10 cities with the total revenue. Okay. So now that I have this, I can bring this down here. Okay, and then we can begin to format this. Okay, so do you want to use this or do you want to use this? But I think this is fine. Okay, so we are just going to come right here, and for the map settings, do you want road? I think or grayscale, or do you want it? So you can decide which color you want. All right. In this particular regard, I think let's go with the black for now. All right. So let's go with black. All right. So you can choose to add controls. All right. Really doesn't matter. You can choose to add controls, or you can choose to just leave it as it is, and that is also fine. Okay. Depending on what you are doing, I'm just showing you what happens when you use them. Okay. And now we can change the colors, and let's make the colors white for them. All right. Okay. So we can also increase or decrease this as you see fit. All right. That is fine. So now that we are done with that, let's close this category level so that we can add so we can add the cities, the name of the cities. All right. You can add them. So you can do this, and you can choose to format them as well, whichever way you like. All right. Then now we can go here, and then for the title, top 10 cities. So we can say top 10 cities by revenue and profit. All right. Okay. Then now we can format that. It's too big, so we can just reduce. All right, and format this. So I want it to be 12 and bolded, and then black. All right. And then in the middle. So that is fitting and in the middle. Okay. All right. So now that we are done with that, what we can do is that we can just change the effects. All right, or remove the background, and voila, that should be that. So we are done with this. That's our third question solved. Fourth question solved, excuse me. So the fourth question, which cities contribute the most sales and profit? So that is what we've just solved. All right. And so if you go here, you see that this, it has the total profit as well as a tooltip. Okay. So we will format the tooltips as well once we are done with that. So now let's go to the fifth question, which is which products are the top sellers by revenue? All right. Which products are the top sellers by revenue? Okay, but I like to leave that particular question. Which products are the, all right, so let's solve that question. I wanted to skip it and then go do something, but let's solve it. So which products? So now what I like to do, or what I did was that I went to the sports to check how many products that we have. All right, to check how many products that we have, because you can't just stand up and say you want the top 5 or top 10. Perhaps all the products are just up to 5 or up to 10, and so it's important to check to know that. All right. So I came right here, I checked, and I saw that we only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only 6 products. All right. And so what I did was that I divided that. So I said the top 3 products and then the bottom 3 products. All right. And so that is how I answered this question. So the top 3 with the most revenue, the 3 with the most revenue is our top 3, and then the 3 with the least revenue is our bottom 3. All right. So I divided that into 3. Okay. And so as the question has rightfully said, that I want to know the products that are top sellers by revenue. So I'm going to say the top 3 products by revenue. Okay. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to select product. All right. And then I'm just going to come to my measures, which I've already created, and select my total revenue. Okay. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to come here and I'm going to select top N and then choose top 3. Okay. Choose top 3, and since it's based on revenue, I'm going to take my revenue, drag it here, and apply filter, and I have my top 3. So all you need to do is select a filter for this. Now in my actual project, I selected the donut chart. Now you are free to select the pie chart as well, or some of you might still go with column chart or clustered bar chart, and that is totally fine. All right, so you are free to use whichever visualization that you want to use here, but in this particular case, I think I'll still go with the donut chart. All right, so I'm going to pick this, bring this down here. Okay, and then I'm going to close this so that it fix the box, it fix it fits into this box. All right. Okay, and now what I can do is that now I need to go in there and do my format, and I don't want the legends title, so I'm going to take the legends out, but for the slices I'm going to change the colors. All right, and you can also do that based on how you want to, color them. All right, so I'm going to select men's street footwear. I don't want this color, I want to make it black, so I'm going to select that, and I'm going to select the second one, which is women's apparel. All right, and I'm going to make this let's say I'm going to make this color. All right, and for the third one, which is this, I think I'm going to change the color and I'm going to make it this. All right, so this is the colors that I want. So I go to detail labels, and once I come here, I'm going to come to values, and I'm going to do my formatting. All right, so do my formatting, increase it a little bit, and then make the color. I don't want it this color, I want the actual black. All right, so like so, and I think that is done. All right, then now from there we need to just go and work on the title. All right, so for the title, I'm going to come here, I'm going to say top 3 products with the most revenue. All right, so top 3 products with the most revenue. And now once I've gotten that, I can just decrease this, bolden this, make this nice. I can reduce this a little bit as well. All right, but I think 12 is fine. And then I can just put this everything title in the middle, and then voila, that is that. So we are done with this question as well. All right, so this question that says they want to know the products that are their top sellers, that is what we've gotten for them. So the products that are their top sellers, one is the men's street footwear, the second is the women's apparel, and the third is the men's athletic footwear. So these are the products that are bringing in the most revenue. All right, okay, so now let's move on to the next one. So the fifth question says, the sixth question says, which sales channel generate the most, let's see, the most revenue. Now I like to leave this. Which customers are shifting toward, are customers shifting towards, I would like to leave this. Which method has the highest profit? I like to leave this for now. And then which region contributes the most to sales and profit? I also like to leave this for now. So let's move on to question 10. So question 10 says, what is the relationship between price per unit and operating margin? All right. Now I'm leaving from question 6 all the way to question 9 because I'll be using the 4 parameters to answer those questions, and that's why I'm leaving them for now. So I'm working on the other ones, and then once we are done, we use the 4 parameters to summarize those 4 questions. All right. So if you can see right over here, all right, this one. So this is a fold parameter, and the fold parameter answers everything: product, sales, retail, region, by total revenue, total profit. So we are going to use a fold parameter like so, all right, to answer the question over here. All right, and that is why we are just skipping it to question 10. So question 10 is, what's the relation between price per unit and operating margin? So price per unit and operating margin. If there's an increase in unit price, does it also lead to a corresponding increase in operating profit margin? Things like that. All right, or an increase in price leads to a decrease in operating margin. All right, and so that's what we're going to look at, and for that we are going to be using what we call the scatter plot to illustrate that. All right, and so yeah, the question again is, what's the relationship between price per unit and operating margin? All right, so we are just going to go to price per unit, which you can find that right here. So price per unit and operating margin. Now this is based on the product. All right, if you have to find relationship, it's based on the product. All right, so the product is of the operating margin, and then the price per that particular product. All right, an operating margin, that's why I've selected the product, so don't forget. And then we are going to go right here and select the scatter plot for that. And so this is our scatter plot. All right, so we have that here, and we are simply just going to format this. All right, okay. All right, so now we're just going and format this, but there's going to be another this one, so we are going to reduce this a little bit. Okay, all right, then here, and I don't want anything, so I'm just going to remove everything from this particular visualization. All right, titles and what have you, I'm just going to remove everything. Okay, because the bubbles themselves will narrate everything, so I don't need these values. They are just there to take up space. All right, they're just there to take up space, and that's why I'm removing them. Now let's check the grid lines. Are there any grid lines? Nope, so we are good to go. All right, let's see if we can add some zoom sliders. Nah, we can add zoom sliders, we don't have that option. All right, and the markers are just the bubbles in there, so we can change them, we can change the colors. No, let's just use this. All right, so size, we can increase them a little bit. All right, that's fine, and then we can come right here. Now I'm going to change this, I'm going to make it black. All right, now you can use any color of your choosing. All right, let's see, should we use this color? Nah, I just think I'll use black for now for this particular project. All right, so black is fine. All right, and then we're going to close this, and that should be. So let's add category labels, all right, to them. Okay, so those are the category labels, and all right, this, that. Okay, then we can just go here and then change our title. All right, so you're going to say relationship. All right, relationship between price and operating margin. All right, so you can just say relationship between price and operating margin. Now let's reduce this. Okay, and then I'm just going to make this bold, and then for this I want to be sure it's actual black, and then we put this in the middle. And so you can simply see that this particular product, the main street food, the price and the operating margin is actually the best. All right, so you can see right here, the unit price is 71,220 and the operating margin is around $718. All right, and then from there we come down to this one, which has a unit price of about 82,974 and operating margin of 709. Now if you come down, you see that it's going to reduce, and then so on and so forth. And so it tells you which ones are actually very much performing and then which ones are not really meeting up to, the relationships are a bit abysmal. All right, and so you can see that right over there. And so that is that for this particular question. So we are able to see the question 9, the relationship between the price per unit and operating margin. All right, yeah, okay. So now the question 10 says, using the map chart, we also identify the 5 cities with the least contribution in profit, revenue, and total units. All right, and what we can simply do, just as we did for this, we can also do the same for this. All right, and so we are going to look for the cities. Okay, let me come right up. So I'm going to look for the cities. All right, but in this case we are going to be looking for the ones with the, the least amount of revenue, or generating the least revenue, all right, to Amazon as a company. All right, so we are going to come right here, and again we are going to go to the top end, but this time around we are going to change from top to bottom. All right, because we don't want the top end, we rather want the bottom, the bottom 5, the bottom 10, the bottom 8. All right, that is the least amount. Okay, and so we change it. Once you click on the top end over here, you come down here to show items, and in here we have top and bottom, so you change it from top to bottom. All right, and then we can say, all right, so we want the bottom 10, and then we are going to continue by taking what we are basing it on and applying the filter. All right, so now that we have this, we can simply just drag this and bring this down, and all that is left is our formatting. Okay, so let's bring this down here, close the gap a little bit. All right, because we don't have enough space. Okay, and then we can just click on this format paint and then put it on here. All right, so we have our question. Now we can just go in there and then change the title to cities contributing the least. All right, so we can just do that, and good, we are good to go. All right, so we can just also make it just top 5. So let me just make it top 5 because it looks because the space is low, so let's just make it top 5 and apply. All right, so this looks okay. So this Fargo is the city given as the one of the cities with the least total revenue. All right, and then we have Minneapolis, also one of the cities with the least revenue, and then we have the Moa. I don't know how you pronounce this. This is the first time I really see this. So if you know how to pronounce it, you can just let me know. All right, and then we also have Omaha, yeah, Milwaukee. So these are the cities contributing the least amount, all right, to Amazon in this particular data set. All right, so we are done answering question 10 as well. So we've answered question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, question 5, question 10, and question 11. So that we have from question 6 to question 9 to answer. So the question 6 says, which sales channel generates the most revenue? So sales channel is 1. Are customers shifting towards online purchasing? Which method has the highest profitability, and which regions contribute the most to sales and profit? All right, so that's what we are going to be doing. And with that, like I said, I created the field parameters for that. Okay, so I have my first field parameter, which is a column parameter, and my second field parameter, which is the measure parameters. Now if you don't know how to create field parameters, I have a video on field parameters that I'll wish for you to check it out. All right, to fully understand how field parameters are created and the essentials of field parameters. All right, so now let's continue. And so with this, I'm just going to select my field parameters. All right, so I'm going to select bar before. Yeah, so I'm just going to select my field parameters. All right, so now I'm just going to select my field parameters. So I'm going to come here. Now before you select a field parameter, all right, if you've already created the food parameters, it's essential that before you select the food parameter, you already choose the filter slice. Food parameters are slices, all right? They come in slices. So before you select any food parameter, be sure you have your slicer selected, all right? Else it's not going to work, okay? So I have this, all right? So this is my first food parameter, and then my second food parameter is going to be my measure food parameter. So I have that, all right? All right, so now I'm simply going to format them. Okay, my food parameters. That is these two slices. All right, and so let me just do that quickly. So with this my column parameters, I want them this way horizontally, and then with my measure parameters, I want them vertically. Okay, so with my column parameters, I'm going to come here and slicer center. I'm going to leave it as so, and then with this, because I want them horizontally, I'm going to add this one. All right, and I'm going to add this 4. Then I'm just going to close the gap. Okay, now the gaps are the spaces the spaces between them. Okay, so don't get it twisted. So I have my this. I want them this way horizontally because I want them on top. Okay, I want them on top, so like so. All right, so let's go ahead and continue formatting this. So I'm going to come to my callout and work on my fonts and all of that. All right, so I will simply go to value, increase this, make this bold. All right, and then maybe 13. Okay, that should be fine. And then this. Okay, and then I can just come here and put this in the middle. Okay, but then I don't want the title, I don't want this column parameter showing. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this column parameter off, and now voila, I have this. So now we are moving to the second one, and I would like to use the same format. Okay, so I'm going to use the same format for this. The only difference is that with this particular one, I don't want I want it in the vertical form. Okay, I want it in the vertical form so that I can put it right here. And so instead of this, I'm going to rather do this 4, and then I'm going to do this 1 so that I can have it in vertical form. All right, okay, so this is how it's supposed to be. And let me do this right. Take this up, hello, right? So take this up, hello, then bring this down here. Oh, good. Maybe let me close it a little bit. I think it's too large. No, but everything will show. So this is just fine. Okay. So this is just fine. So this is our 4 parameters. Now, if you made it up to this point, I'd like to pause it and say, hey, don't forget to subscribe if you are loving this and you love to get to know more about Power BI and data analytics. All right, because on this channel we are not just learning Power BI, but we will be looking at videos on SQL, Python, Excel, and so on and so forth. All right, everything data. Okay, and so if there's something you're interested in and you are liking this, you are loving it, I'll urge you to be sure to subscribe. All right, don't forget to leave a comment if there's anything that you really do not understand, right, or you want me to go over. Okay, and I'll be sure to make a video that I saw for you. Be sure to like as well. All right, so without much ado, let's continue. So now that I'm done with my food parameters, now when you create food parameters, you need a measure, you need a visualization that will show you what you need when you switch between the food parameters. All right, and with this particular measure, we are going to be using the tree map. Okay, so I'm going to select the tree map. Oh, excuse me. All right, so the tree map, we are going to use the tree map. So this is my tree map. And with the tree map, we are going to be using our parameters, all right, because we want the figures in the tree map to change based on our parameters, all right, not based on an individual column or an individual measure, but based on the parameters. And so I'm going to select my parameters, so my column parameter 1, and then my measure parameter. Okay, all right, so now that I have this, depending on whichever measure that you choose, you need to make a little bit of settings. So I'm going to put this right here. Okay, all right, so I think this is fine. So this is a measure, so that when I want the total profit for products, I select total profit, and then I select product, and I'm able to find that. If I want the total profit for sales method, I'm going to select sales method, and I'm going to find that. If I want that for region, if I select total profit by region, I'm going to find that. If I don't want the total profit, but I want the total units sold, if I do this, I'm going to find the total units sold by region, or by retailer, or by sales method. So this is for the total units. And if I want for the total records as well, because if you looked at one of the questions, it says, our customers shifting towards, it says, our customers shifting towards online purchases, which is a channel. All right. And so the total record, the total number of people by sales method. So this shows that people are preferring more online purchasing, all right, as compared to outlet and in-store. And we are able to do this because of the fraud map that we are using. Now, if you look at it, there are other questions as well. So the question 6 is, which sales channel generates the most revenue? All right, so which sales channel? So this is sales method generates the most revenue. So I can simply just come here, and again I can see that in-store generates the most revenue with a whooping 35 million. All right, followed by outlet with a whooping 29 million. Okay, and so you can see question 6 is solved. You can see question 7 is solved. All right, question 6 is solved, question 7 is solved. Now question 8 is, which method has the highest profitability? Has the highest profitability. And so if you come right here, we can see which sales method has the highest profitability. And so we are looking at total profit, and we can see that in-store has a total profit, or brings in the total profit, the highest total profit of 12,759,000. All right, and so this simple thing has answered most of the questions, or all of the questions. Question 9 says, which region contributes the most to sales and profit? So which region, which is this is a region, contributes to sales, so total revenue. And we can see that the western region brings in the most total revenue, followed by the northeast, and then the southeast, and then the south, and the mid-east for total revenue. Now, if you look at profit as well, you can also see that west brings in the most total profit, and then northeast, and it follows like that. All right. So the food parameters help us to answer all of those questions without us having to create multiple pages. All right, for this particular question, or multiple visualizations for it. All right. And so once we have that, now we can just simply come here and format our visual. Okay. And so I'm just going to come here and make everything black. So I'm going to use a conditional formatting gradient, and I'm going to say the lowest, because I want everything to be black. I'm going to come right here and say black as well, so that everything now is black. All right. Okay. So that's conditional format, and I have a video of that as well. So we can put in our data labels. All right. And there's something that I like to check. So measure, let me see. I'm just checking something. All right. I think there's something wrong somewhere. So category column, let's bring that in here. All right. So this is how I want it. Okay. So this is how I actually want it. So I'll be using this because that time we had some figures. We had some total revenue the same applying down here, which didn't really seem right. All right. So total product by, and now we just have it this way, and this makes a lot of sense. All right. Okay. So now let's format this again. I'm just going to come here, choose everything to be black. Now because we made a little changes, it's affected this as well. All right. So now we don't have the conditional formatting option. Okay, we don't have the conditional formatting option, but that is also fine. You can just do it like this as well, where you just have to change everything. You just have to change all the colors. Okay, and so it's fine because we don't have that option. And now the layout, we want to squarify it. Okay, now we have our data labels, and we can just format the data labels. All right, and increase this a little bit, and I think this is fine. Okay, so that's for data labels. And for data category, which is the titles, all right, or the name of the products, we can again just make it big, large, a little bit. All right, and so I think this should be fine. Then we can just go to general, and then for the title, I like to take the title off. All right, because we don't need the title. And the effect, I like to turn this off as well. And then now voila. So sales method by total revenue. So again, this like this. So it will be, for some reason, we are going to have to change them one by one if you don't like the colors. All right, and that is totally fine. I mean, that is totally fine. You can easily just change your colors. All right, if you are tired now, and I like to leave this as this color, it makes it look really good. And then the retailer as well, so we can just go in there, and then because we don't have the conditional formatting function, we just leave it as it is. Okay, leave it as it is. Then let's make this black, but I'll leave the orange in the middle. And then let's make this black. Let's see if we can make this orange. All right, that's good. And then with this, so this is the last one. So, and then we can just change the colors. It's black. Make this black. All right, make this black. Then the last one, we can make the last one black as well. All right. And so yeah, voila. So this is the entire project. All right, and I hope this was fun. I enjoyed it. I don't know if you enjoyed it. And if you want to make the two tips, all right, so like so, if you look at this, you can see our two tips are, like how the two tips are appearing. If you just want to, if you want to do that as well, like I said, I have a video on that as well. But if you want to know how to do that, you can just simply just select that particular visualization, go to general, all right, come down to tooltips. Okay, and then once you come to tooltips, you have the option to change your text and then your background. So with text, I'm going to say B, and then the text color. So there are two things you need to do here. The label color, I'm going to select, this time I'll select black for it, but the value color I'll select this for it. Right, or no, so this, because I want to make the background black, and then I'll select white for this. All right, so that the background, all right, the background, I can select black for the background. All right, so that if you come here, you can see that now it's working. And you can do that to all of them. So you can come down here and then you just select, change this, make this black, and then make this this, and then make this white, and then bolden it a little bit. And now if I hover over here, you can see that is there. So you can do it for all of them. All right, and so yeah, this is our project on Amazon. This was really interesting. This was a really interesting project, and I do hope you enjoyed it. Now in the next one is going to be an even more interesting project. We are looking at Xmas. We are making a project on Christmas. All right, and trust me, you are going to really enjoy it. And so yeah, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you can join the Nakama. All right, and so when I upload a new video like this, you'll be the first to be notified. All right, and so yeah, like I always say, do be sure to take care of yourself as we embark on this 10 days hackathon and Power BI project. All right, and yeah, so I'll catch you in the next one.